Hey, welcome back to Boost Your Income with Bootstrap to WordPress. This lecture is called Convert Your Static Header to a Dynamic Header. Cue funky beats. All right, here we are in my favorite code editor. Open up your favorite. Should also be Coda 2. Just kidding, you can use whatever editor you want as long as it is Coda. And open up your theme, Bootstrap to WordPress theme here in the, make sure it's the directory. Open up that header.php file that's provided in the theme. Here it is right here, but we need to change it up to make it more like what it's going to be. So we need to take our index file from our static site and turn the header section, all of this stuff, and include this in our header.php, but WordPressifies it. WordPressize it. You know what I mean. Make it WordPress. So yeah, let's just jump in and start doing it. Let's start from the top here. I'm going to leave for now. There's some links to style sheets and font icons, Google Fonts, things like that we're going to get into in an upcoming lecture. But first, we're just going to, more importantly, do the header, like literally the header section. So let's go ahead and grab the header, all this right here. Boom. Copy that from your static index file. You're going to take that and under this skip link right here, the screen reader text, basically just take all of this and remove it. We're just going to scrap it. Gone forever. And paste what you did from your static site. Just going to line this up a little bit. So here's our header. And now we're just going to basically make this more WordPress friendly. So we have our header, site header, role banner. We're looking good. Basically where we need to start making this a little bit more WordPress style is our navigation right here, the navigation menu. So let's get some space here between the navbar header and the navbar collapse section, because this is what we're going to play with. So in order to make this connect to WordPress and pull in our actual WordPress menus, we need to use the WordPress function, WordPress nav menu. So I'm going to build this here. We're going to build this here, and then we're basically going to remove this stuff afterwards, just so you can follow along. So go ahead and add some PHP. All right, so in that PHP, we need to use the WordPress nav menu function. In there, we're going to have an array. And that array, we have more stuff in here. Good. In there, we're going to have theme location. This is going to be where or which menu is WordPress looking for. It's going to be called primary. Now, there's a note on this. I'll copy and paste this here for you. If the menu, the WordPress admin area, is not set, then the menu class is applied to container. In other words, it overwrites the container class. So what does that mean? We're going to be doing that here. So we have container, and that container, what is the container element? I want it to be the nav element, the actual nav tag, HTML5. And then container class is navbar collapse and collapse. And then one more is menu class. So what is the class of the menu? So the unordered list. That's nav, navbar nav, and navbar right. These are all Bootstrap classes, remember. Okay, so what is this? How does this relate to this? So if you don't actually set the menu, so if I just save this as is and just left it like this, it wouldn't actually work properly, because we need to actually set the menu in the WordPress dashboard. And that's pretty easy to do. Actually, it's incredibly easy to do. One of the easiest things you can do. So I'm just going to save this here. And let's delete this for now. Just remove the navbar. Don't remove the container, just the navbar collapse. Okay, so technically this should be replacing it. So let's save that. And let's go to our site here. Now we have home and sample page, and we have a couple other funny things here. Let's go back into our dashboard. and appearance menus, you need to create a primary menu. This one is going to be called main menu. You can call it whatever you want. And I'm going to create that menu. And the theme locations will be primary menu. That's built in to your underscores theme. So if I were to go back here into our functions.php and just search for nav, here we go. So down here on line 43 in our functions, now functions.php is like the main core of our WordPress theme. This is where all the PHP functions are hosted. So register nav menus. This is how you register a navigation menu in WordPress. You can have as many as you want. So by default, they just give you primary menu, and that is in the primary down here. Do you see the relation? Primary menu, primary menu. That's because it's right here by default in the functions file. You can add more, like footer menu, sidebar menu, whatever, and they will show up in the WordPress nav menu dashboard. So we want this one to be set as the primary menu. And you can leave home and sample page for now. Save that and then go back. Cool. And so that's technically working. We have a broken image here and this button. So this image is because the brand is referencing nothing really. So let's go back to our header here. Up here, the navbar brand. To fix that, basically what we want to do is just make sure we're referencing the correct file location. And it's also good to know we don't even have it in here. We don't have our images or anything. And we'll add that in the next lecture, actually. We're going to add our images, our styles, and our scripts, and all the extra bonuses. So we'll cover that bug in the next lecture. So really, this lecture was about getting this header set up there and having our navigation menu. And so technically now, if you were to add more pages and make sure that those were hooked into that primary menu, they would show up in the header. So hopefully that wasn't too confusing. Just a real quick recap. Basically what we did was we took our header.php file in our underscores theme, or we can call it our Bootstrap to WordPress theme now because that's what it's going to be. And we took out the default code under the skip link here, and we added our header from our static index file. And then there we basically just turned our WordPress nav menu. We use the WordPress nav menu function to add a dynamic menu so that we can actually have real dynamic menu items in our header. And the quick note here, the button that you see for toggle navigation, the reason why that is there is because we don't actually have our Bootstrap styles in there yet. SR only class is a Bootstrap specific class which hides anything unless it is a screen reader. And so that's why we see it up here. And it's kind of ugly right now. So in the next lecture, we're going to fix up this image. We're going to add our Bootstrap styles, scripts, and certain things like that. Clean the rest of this header up so we can actually get into the good stuff. Don't worry, it's going to start looking good pretty soon. See you there.